Good morning. Wanted to share a few thoughts with you today about this destructive belief that has been circling the world for centuries. The us versus them, the good guys versus the bad guys, the heroes versus the enemies, whatever label you want to put on this, it is still showing up in our reality today. And I've been thinking about this a lot over the last month because I'm helping a friend locally with German ancestry to learn a little bit more about his uncle's service in the German Navy during World War II. His uncle was killed and he's buried in the Netherlands. And having traveled in Europe, having listened to the stories, having lived in Europe and become somewhat embedded in some of the culture over there, and listening to the stories that I hear from Americans, there's still, even more than 75 years after the war, this us versus them, or these are the bad guys and these are the good guys. And even as we look at what's happening right now on the planet, with the division that has been pushed on us over the last year and a half in particular, we're still seeing a lot of people play in that us versus them energy instead of recognizing that we are all connected. We are all one. And what happens to one of us affects all of us. So my invitation to you today is to step back and look at your own beliefs, especially around this division that keeps happening. You know, we saw it in World War II, whether you're allied or the enemy, if you're American or German, if you're French or German, or if you're a resistor or you're part of the enemy forces. We see it now in people that are choosing one thing or another with what to do with their bodies. We're seeing it now where history is repeating itself with the show me your papers. And we have still quite a lot of people on the planet that either don't see this playing out, or they see it, but they're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to stand up and be different from the rest of the people in their culture. So they just ignore it and hope that it will go away. But it takes each of us to look at our own beliefs. How did we contribute to all of this playing out on the planet and this continually repeating pattern of us versus them? And why do we still allow the manipulation of that to play with us? Most of it is because we all hold trauma in our bodies. We all have places where we're numb. We have beliefs and patterns that were passed down through our ancestors. You know, I've seen in Europe so much by talking to my friends over there that if their parents survived the war or their grandparents survived the war, you know, there's still this anger against the enemy. There's still this hatred. There's still this, well, you know, my father would never buy a German car because, so I'm going to follow in those footsteps and believe that too. But we all have a choice. What beliefs do we really want to buy into? And what can we start to shift? So as we look at what is happening on the planet and we look at our World War II ancestry, and you can see this repeated over many other generations in your family tree if you go look. We all have a choice right now to unplug from the madness of the collective where they're trying to divide everybody. Or we have a choice to stay plugged in. I mean, if that's fun for you and that's where you're comfortable, it's all choice. But I think a lot of people are ready to stand up and say enough. So what can we do? Again, you need to start by looking within. You need to start looking at the beliefs and patterns that have been passed down through your family tree. Where can we start to shift this? What is the message that we can start to give our children and our grandchildren? And maybe for some of you, your great-grandchildren. That it isn't okay to hate everybody else on the planet. That it isn't okay to be in division. That it isn't okay to be telling everybody else what to do. Everybody has their own choice. Whether it's what to do with your body, or what to do about your healing, or what to choose to see or ignore or deny playing out in the world. So if you're interested in learning more about how we can heal go to the ancestralsoulswisdomschool.com website and take a look at the store. I have some chakra healing sessions. I have private facilitation. I've got some webinars and online classes, and I've got a lot more coming to help you go more deeply into your personal beliefs and that of your ancestors. So be sure to subscribe to my mailing list, and be sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel for the next video, where we'll be talking about other family beliefs and patterns and military and genealogy research and all kinds of things. So if you're ready to go deeper into all of this and really start to heal and create massive change on the planet, I invite you to go to ancestralsoulswisdomschool.com and take a look at what's going on.